And when I just opened the video from Kilian Jornet's exploration of Pyrenees, I just like, we have to talk about it because there's so many lessons and such a unique and high performance journey. You found this video, why you sent it to me?
Well, thank you, Inga. I'm so excited about this. I love talking about Kilian Jornet. So who is Kilian Jornet? First of all, the most famous athlete in Catalonia, although he's not living in Catalonia now, he lives in Norway. But Kilian is recognized as being one of the very best adventure sport athletes in the world. Trail running, ski mountaineering. He cut his teeth here he was born in the Pyrenees. He used to run all around the trails right outside my window. He used to race the school bus to school from the mountains, into the school in La Seu d'Urgell. And then he moved to the Alps in his teenage years. And today he is still competitive as an athlete in his mid to upper 30s. And he also takes on these incredible adventures. Last summer, he actually climbed, he just is an amazing record. He climbed 82 peaks in the Alps of 4,000 meters or more in a span of 19 days, all continuous. Never anything like that has been done before. So Kilian is what I would consider to be a very thin line between what it means to be human and what it means to be nature. And I think, so we came across this video that was shot about a little less than a year before his Alps journey that was in the Pyrenees. And you and I watched it and we took away some amazing lessons about leadership. So let's dig in.
Let's dig in, and we're gonna talk about it in two parts. One part will be what is gold in here in this video, in his journey, in his extraordinary performance, where he is able to not only survive in this very tough conditions in the mountains, but challenging human limits. And how can we apply it? Let's start from, what did you find? What is gold for you in this video?
Well, Inga, I think any time that you watch Kilian, in fact, I remember around September, October of 2023, when he was doing this Pyrenees adventure, I remember following a few posts on Instagram and just trying to think, like, what is going on here? Like, what is his goal? What is he trying to do? Because back then I was sort of thinking in peaks, like, this is the peak you want to go up, and, the reward, the gold, so to speak, lives at the top of those peaks. And it was really hard for me to understand what was happening at that time. But then you watch this, you watch the documentary, and you just see this progression. It's not about the peaks; it's about the journey that the person becomes moving through the mountains. And every day he's going up a number of peaks and then coming back down, going up and coming back down. And a lot of this relative to leadership, the gold, so to speak, is just led me to this very contrarian view that, like, if you have a coach, if you have a consultant that is telling you that you are here and the gold exists at the top of the mountain, I think your response should be somewhere between deeply questioning that, is that really true, to somewhere along the lines of run like crazy and get out of the room. Because the gold doesn't live at the top of the pyramid. I know this from having won a gold medal at the Olympics. It's not about climbing the top. It's about the journey through the mountain that you become. And as you watch Kilian on this journey, not just actively going up and down peaks and moving through the mountains, but the rest and the recovery and the connection with his support crew and his mom on the journey. It is all about the person that he becomes while he's out moving through the Pyrenees. That is the gold for me, and the gold takeaway in this video.
Just to add to what you already said, why I right away wanted for us to talk about this video, because how he prepares for his run. It was very clear when he is drawing the lines on the map. He estimates not like how many peaks he gonna climb. It is all about the most beautiful journey. It's like how to have the most beautiful journey. And the most what I loved what he said, I want to open that path, what I'm planning here, for me to explore with surprises, with getting lost, to make sure whenever I run, if I find what maybe another peak is going to be more beautiful. But that's the goal for him, was that path to run and to see the most beautiful things what this nature offers to him. And he was open to surprises, but also it wasn't just a wild run. He really prepared in knowing his physicality. He had his crew waiting for him in case something happens. He was estimating his stops, replenish, refuel, reconnect. Some of the parts he didn't run alone. He ran with teammates. So he was very aware where he is, what his purpose and goal of this journey is, how to set himself for success, what are the dangers of this kind of runs where we're not aware if we are running something away from or towards something.
Well, I think what Killian reminds me of, that even though this guy has won all the big titles of mountain trail running races and has accomplished some amazing things, what I love about Killian, or my feeling about what Killian presents to the way he approaches things, and he shares a lot of his training and the way of his philosophy online, is makes it he's very transparent and open with it. But I think you have to be careful in how you digest it too. But I think Killian like resets in projects, not in like championships. Like I think championships are just like a byproduct of these amazing projects that he puts together. I didn't even know that he had started this Alps project with the 82 peaks, in 19 days. He started that while the famous trail running race in Chamonix was happening. Like, he was literally not doing one of the biggest trail races in the world in order to do something that could not be measured with a medal, with a title, it was just something that would be satisfying to him as a mountaineer. That's it. And the capacity of being like a servant to nature. And so I think that he has a filter for asking himself questions about, am I running towards something or running away from something? And will say, the last thing I'll say on this is that I think this is one of the reasons that I'm sensitive to it, is when I talk to coaching clients that sort of set out on like the really high level endurance sports and athletes, I'm always looking for that running towards or running away, because those events take a lot of time to train for. You can train for a 5K run, a 10K run. It takes a lot less time and you can have a very rewarding experience. But yeah, I think having a little bit of that sensitivity and reflection of, to or from is really critical. I think Kilian is very difficult to emulate. He's the last person in the world that I would actually want to emulate because he's so unique. But I think doing what you and I are doing right now and figuring out what we can take away from the lessons and the ideas and the transparency of such an amazing outdoorsman, I think is a beautiful project, and I think helpful to our elevating community.
Uh, uh, and when I work with my clients and with myself too, this developing sensitivity to when overdoing or underdoing things, I doing it because I feel this desperation feeling or some pressure from outside or inside, or it is focused actually in alignment with what is my purpose and my strengths, and my pace towards visions. What we're having is this is what we're developing with clients to utilize and optimize our beautiful capabilities in the right way, in an aligned way. My last question for you is what you are taking away. I know you will be running few trails. You said not to um, copy Kilian's approach to journey. However, what he inspired in you and how you're gonna approach your trail runs.
I think one of the biggest effects that I will call it the Kilian effect that it's had on me over the years. And I'm not saying Kilian does this, I'm just saying the effect that he's had on me. And I find myself applying this to my life in many, many ways. I used to have this when I ran with a watch and I measured everything. And I think a lot of people know that I'm more than 5 years into running with no technology at all. But I used to very rigidly plan out, oh, on this day I'm going to do speed, on this day I'm going to do this distance, I'm going to go this intensity, I'm going to do this many sets, blah, blah, blah. The Kilian effect on me is just get out the door and start moving. You don't have to decide beforehand. Just start moving. Get out there. See how you feel. If you feel good, do a little intensity. If you're not feeling awesome, no problem. Just keep it easy and keep the feet moving. Enjoy the run. And I think that to me, when I look for ways to apply that to how I paddle the surf ski out in the waves, how I plan activities with my partner, Maria, how I write day to day. It's like, just get started. Like, it doesn't have to be some rigid amount of like pages I read in the book or how many words I write on the paper. I think just get the feet moving, get out there and get started.
I love this Kilian effect because so many times we create so many steps for ourselves just to start because oh maybe it's not gonna be good or it's not gonna be perfect or maybe I'm gonna fail or what is the point of this, like in the end what I'm gonna be achieving here. And the other video what you sent to me about him, it was where he was preparing, just I'm just gonna run around my house. Just packing
Yes.
little backpack and we'll see what it is. I'm just gonna go and explore and let's see where what I'm gonna find, and I always can come back. Like you don't even have to go far away from what you're doing to discover beautiful things, what create this journey what we aspire to have.
It just, I think this is something you said is really important. And the one other takeaway I think is meant the world to me with Killian. That video that you're referring to, he packs a small day pack and it looks like he's going out for a 1 hour hike to his house. And he's out for like 50 hours with minimal food. But this is the beauty is like he trusts the world out there that there are things to pick up. There's food, there's water, there's things. You don't have to leave the house with everything. Just get started,
Mm.
get out there. Like a lot of what you need to recover, to replenish, to renourish yourself, it's out there on the journey. And so many people are just waiting to start, or they're spending all this time packing, they're carrying around a lot of weight that isn't needed. And Killian is a great example in thinking about what is going to be out there on the journey that's going to feed me, that's going to nourish me, that's going to replenish me, that's going to reset me, that I don't have to bring with me. Just bring myself, get out there and start moving. I'm sorry, I know we went a little bit long on this, but I just love that point that Killian teaches us. And I think that in general, I think it's fair to say we probably overpack, we overprepare, we carry too much junk with us on the journey. Travel light, embrace lightly. You know, it's such a powerful, powerful metaphor of Killian.